through the pandemic, a lot of us obviously had a awakening, right? And I have found other people in my life like you who only know this version of me, which make me feel the most comfortable. And it's funny because there are other versions of us that exist. And we realize that like a lot of times people meet us in our lives when we're at different stages. And that's a hard thing to navigate, right? Because you only know this version of me. So I feel awesome because I can come be me. But now somebody I met 5 years ago that I might have lost touch with over the pandemic, if I see them now, I'm not even that person now. And like how you navigate that road has been really challenging. I know I got us off track here, but it just goes to speak that we're always reinventing ourselves, I think, a lot. And that's not easy.
100%. Well, and like we're reinventing ourselves. And then on the other side, I'm sure what's coming up for people, I mean, it's coming up for me is like, where are these places where when I was younger, I was told I was too much. And so
Yeah.
I stopped being that version of me. And I was just talking to my friend about this yesterday. I was talking about how when I was younger, I was obsessed with rainbow everything. Like I was obsessed with neon colors. I wore neon clothes. My room was an entire rainbow. And as I got older, I wore bright colors. And my thing was always makeup. Like that's always been my creative space. And I wanted to be a makeup artist. And I would wear like bright purple, bright green,
Yeah.
like intense, like I'm going to prom makeup every day. And
Love
I
it.
just got, everybody was like, where are you going? What are you doing? That's
Right.
too much. And so I was like, okay, I guess I got to dull it down. And it would be this contrasting experience of like I would do this whole like art piece, like artwork with my eyeshadow, and I'd go out and people would like make rude comments, and I learned like just stop, and I was just thinking about like I'm sure, for me it was the makeup, but for somebody else it could be the clothes, or it could be your hair, and it's like
All the time.
where when was the time when somebody told you like that's too much? And
Yeah.
then, you do that part, and is there a piece of you that kind of wants to bring that out again? I think that's something that's
Yeah.
really interesting to explore.
Well, and I do, and I love that. And also that makes me sad for like the younger you that told you, because for me, it's like, well, every day should be the Oscars for you. You want
Yeah.
every day look like prom and make it every day, right? Like,
Every day is prom. Yeah.
right. And more to it. And in fact, the moment you tell me not to, the more I'm going to bring it. Like that's the child that comes out in me is
Mhm.
like, because people will say like, well, where are you going? When I wear like my crazy jackets or something, I'm like, I don't know, Target. Like,
Yeah.
why do and then I get into this other track, which is I don't owe you anything, right? Like that's the older part of me, which is like, I don't owe you one bit of explanation, right? Like the younger part of us is like, oh gosh, you're right. Maybe I should take that makeup off. I'm really not going anywhere. And what is that suggesting? And now it's like, well, can I put more purple on? Like,
Yes.
and so, but that's seasons of life and all the things. But I do think what you're talking about is so interesting is that if we go back to all the different moments in time where we were shut down, and those are scarring moments, and that tell us either we're too much or we're too little or we shouldn't be doing that, and those are all the things that stop us from being who we are. And so those are wounds that, in my opinion, really take reflection time. And so wherever you're at on your own personal journey, like sit with that and like really take stock of, why are you the way you are? We are all products of what we grew up with. Even if you grew up in a great house, like with a great family and there's no tragedy, there's still moments that's why we are the way we are. Like I'm a totally recovering people pleaser and try to figure out, why am I that way? And how do I fix that? And get a little bit better at it. But the reality is that if we don't do the work, like then we just kind of keep creating the cycle. And like, I don't want to do that. I just feel like, you get one shot here and I'd like it to be the best one I have. So
100%. And I'm like, it reminds me of, everybody used to make fun of me because I was like known as I always ordered dessert first. And people were like, why are you doing that? And like my
yeah,
parents would get pissed. I'm like, well, because if I die in the next 5 minutes, I want to die
yeah,
eating my
yeah,
Pizookie first, not my fucking salad.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
I gotta live that way. And going back to, well, why isn't every day prom? Why isn't every day the Oscars?
yeah, yeah,
And there's something deeper underneath that of when people are saying that's too much. But at the end of the day, it's like, well,
yeah,
you don't know if when your last day is. And so
yeah,
like I want to feel like a queen today. And
yeah.
the thing is, it makes you feel so different. I mean, the hair, the clothes, like,
Yes.
when I actually put on jewelry and like a cute outfit, I
Yeah.
show up differently. Like I feel so much better. And I think there's something to like, well, why have we been suppressed to dull ourselves down? And then how is that making us feel? And then when we feel that way, how are we showing up different?
Well, but the other thing too is you're doing it for you, right? Like, I mean, if I had to feel that I had to get ready and show up because of everyone else, that's a much different energy than I'm doing it because it makes me feel good about myself. And
Yeah.
like that's enough, right? And you're so right about, I joke, and I've talked about this, that I was, this is a funny story, but we were lucky enough that Adam was nominated for an Emmy. So we got to walk the red carpet. Okay. That's not the story I'm telling you. And so you like clap and think that's amazing. The funny part is that we got to the theater and I told Adam, like, wrap it around, we're going again. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, we're never going to be, I don't think, back in this moment in time. And why are we rushing to get to our seats like everybody else because we are nobodies and we're nervous? I'm like, no. So everybody else walked in and then we turned around and we walked it again. And we slowly went and we looked at cameras who were like, okay, you're nobody. I'm going to put my camera down, and had time of our lives. And that's the entire thing about ordering dessert first, which is literally, seizing the moment to live your life in a way that you aren't promised tomorrow. And so whatever that is, I mean, if we're all waiting for these big moments, like most of the time they don't really happen. Like it's today, like it's now. So if you're waiting, I don't know what you're waiting for. Like if we're lucky, we have these great moments in our lives, but the reality is like, I guess that's why my house is like a treat house. It's like, there's no special Saturday cereal. It's like, whatever. If you want Fruity Pebbles now, like we have Fruity Pebbles. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm not a healthy mom, but my point is we try to live every day like it's a celebration of a day. I mean, just because I think life's just too fragile any other way. And I don't want to live so tightly wound